Welcome to History of Success as we continue to shine a light on positive stories taking place in Lynn and the greater Lynn area. Today we look to shine the light on an event taking place at Spinelli's on Friday evening at 6:30 p.m., honoring 13 recipients who have impacted and made a difference to students at Lynn Tech High School. My guests today include the president of the Lynn Tech Alumni Association, Jim Ward, the coordinator of the Hall of Fame, Bart Conlin, and the treasurer of the Lynn Tech Alumni Association, Rick Starbird. They are our community leaders, and the community resource that they lead are the Lynn Tech Alumni Association. James Ward, a man of our times, the Senior Disaster Recovery Coordinator and Change Manager for Liberty Mutual Insurance. He designed and executed all discovery recovery exercises for 3 domestic and 3 international data centers yearly, was lead consultant, SunGuard Availability Service, Senior Disaster Recovery Coordinator, First Marblehead Corporation, Senior Consultant for SunGuard, Consultant for ComDisco Inc., Operations Technical Support Specialist, Mass Medical Society. His education is very hands-on. Completed 3 certificate programs from the Federal Emergency Management Institute, from FEMA, Certificate ICS 100 Intro to Incident Command System online training program, and obtained FEMA Certificate ICS 200 for single resource and initial action risk incidents for FEMA, Certificate ICS 700 National Incident Management System, and obtained the FEMA Certificate. Very high-level data information security. Past experience: Business Community Planning Review course and passed an exam for the Disaster Recovery Institute International. Volunteering: President, Lynn Tech Alumni Association, President, Lynn Park Softball, Treasurer, North Shore Softball Association, Vice President, Lynn Youth Hockey, Umpire in Chief Pine Hill Little League, Vice President, Greater Lynn Babe Ruth, and Assistant Hockey Coach, the Mass Mariners. Bart Conlin, retired director of Lynn Tech High School, worked 40 years as a math teacher, coach, and administrator in the Lynn Public Schools. Has a Bachelor of Science in Math Science, Master of Education, and Master's in Administration from Salem State University. Coached baseball at Lynn Tech, 1971 to 1983. His 1973 team won the Massachusetts State Championship. Inducted into the Lynn Boys and Girls Club of the Lynn Hall of Fame. Elmer Benedetto Award by the Harry Aganis Foundation for support of high school athletics, and was honored as the Baseball Coach of the Year. Rick Starbird, a faculty alumni. He is the Lynn Tech Treasurer of the Lynn Tech Alumni Association, member of the Chamber of Commerce, member of the EDIC Board, Economic Development Investment Corporation, member of LYSOA Board, owner of Rick's Auto Collision for more than 38 years, a Ward 2 City Councilor, 6 years serving on the Lynn School Committee, 14 years teaching at Lynn Tech, and the 2016 Chamber of Commerce Chairman Award winner. All 3 guests are today's exceptional community leaders.
So yes, starting off with Graham Archer. He is the chief of the fire department in Swampscott. He's a graduate of Lynn Tech. Plumbing. He grew up in a large family in Lynn. His parents always instilled to him the appreciation for hard work and the value of a trade. So he learned a trade, and then he got talked into taking the exam by his brother, who was a chief in the Lynn Fire Department. In February of 1989, he joined the Swampscott Fire Department and put his pumping career on pause. And then as he developed over there, like I said, his brother talked him into moving forward with the fire chief. So he took the fire chief exam, and now he is now the fire chief in Swampscott. Next inductee is John Barry. John Barry is a 1974 graduate of the Lynn Tech Auto Body Program. During his time at Lynn Tech, he played hockey under Al Melanson and baseball under Bart Conlon. So Bart's very familiar with him, as well as Al Melanson, who is another candidate that I'll talk about in a minute. Lynn Tech fostering many lifelong friends, including classmates, faculty, and coaches. After graduating from Tech, John graduated from Bunker Hill Community College for 2 years. He graduated with a degree in criminal justice. Following his time at Bunker Hill, he accepted a position at Marion Street Auto Body, which was working for with Mark King, who is another board member and a Hall of Famer. In 1977, John began his career with the Lynn Fire Department. In the course of 35 years with the fire department, he received various accolades. Actively fought the Great Fire in Lynn of 1981. He rose from firefighter to captain, so he was a captain. During this time, he went back to school for his associates, then bachelor's in fire science. Fire department is a family, just like the graduates of Lynn Tech are a family. John established some long-term friendships and gained valuable lessons of meaning, having each other's back through experiences with the fire department. John has 3 children, Christina, John, and Danielle. He keeps busy with multiple jobs. He does a lot of side work. He's retired from the fire department. He has served on various boards, Lynn Youth Hockey, Babe Ruth, and the South Shore Kings Hockey. He retired in 2011 and now works for his 6 grandchildren. They keep him busy, drop off and pick up, as well as many of his sporting events. That's John Barry. Next up is Tito Cabrera. Fausto is his real name, but everybody knows him by Tito. He was born in Salt Lake City, Utah. When he was a year and a half old, he moved to the city of Lynn. He attended all public schools. He graduated from Lynn Tech in 1994 from the automotive repair program. He's grateful for the support and dedication of the faculty at LVTI, especially Mr. Gene Gallo and Mr. Charles Dolan. They were always inspirations to him. He was chosen for the co-op program in 1993. He was doing auto repair in the co-op programs. He worked at the automotive dealerships on the Linway, where within 5 years, he was the shop foreman and assistant shop manager. He continued with the same automotive group, moved to Everett, and became the shop manager of Suzuki of Boston. When the time came, he moved to Flagship Motors and trained as a Mercedes-Benz automotive mechanic. With Mercedes program, he achieved the master technician. He also, which is recognized throughout the world, especially in Europe. He was able to achieve in all the success in his professional life. 12 years after graduating, he was able to open his own repair shop in Salem, where he is still happily employed today. In 27 years of experience in maintenance of vehicles, I still rely on the training I received at the wonderful school, and he's proud of being an LVTI graduate. He was a former Knights of Columbus president, and he still lives in Lynn, and he thinks this is an honor to be brought on to the Hall of Fame. So that was Pedro Tito Cabrera. Next up would be Steve Duffy. So Steve Duffy is a 1977 graduate of electrical, father of 5, grandfather of 4, owner of Duffy Electric. I think it's 40 plus years that he's been the owner of the Duffy Electric. He's a 5-time Lynn School Committee person. He's a 2-term Lynn Counselor at Large. Has his master's electrician's license. He's licensed in Massachusetts as a real estate salesperson. He's licensed in construction supervisor and licensed plumbing apprentice. So that's Steve. He was pretty short and sweet on his bio. That's Steve Duffy. Next up, Pat Jacoya. Pat Jacoya was a Lynn physical education teacher and then also a guidance counselor. In his role as guidance counselor, in addition to maintaining student caseload involving 504 modification plans, child study, team reporting, providing MCAS assistance, and advising students to continue their education goals, he believes that every student needed to succeed, and his philosophy was to help students prepare for life, to be responsible, and be respectful. At Jacoya. Next up, we'll have James Caliger. So James Caliger is a 1975 graduate of the electrical program. James Caliger passed away. He earned his diploma in electrical under Malagriffa, Mr. L. Malagriffa, who recently passed away himself. And he enjoyed a successful career as an electrician until his unexpected passing in 2007 from cardiac complications. After he graduated from Lynn Tech, he enlisted in the U.S. Air Force, served for 4 years at the Sawyer Air Force Base in Michigan as a journey electrician and an alarm specialist for the U.S. military's General Defense Surveillance Division. Following his honorable discharge, he returned to Lynn and completed an associate's science degree in electromechanical technology at North Shore Community College. He earned his master's electrician's license in Massachusetts, Maine, and New Hampshire. During these years, he subcontracted for General Electric and Bath Iron Works in Maine. Jim settled in New Hampshire as a self-employed electrician in all 3 states and an on-call alarm specialist for Manchester, New Hampshire Fire Department. Jim was an active volunteer at the Manchester Vet Center for Veterans Affairs for many years. At LVTI, Jim played football and earned an all-state recognition in track and field, setting records in the discus and the shot put. He credited his successful career to his education and training he received at Tech. Mr. Malagriffa often called on Jim to serve as an apprentice and mentor students, encouraging them to go into the trades. In honor, a scholarship is awarded to an electrician student every year in his name. So that would be James Caliger. Next up would be John Kane. John Kane was an honor student in the electrical program and captain of the class of 1982's baseball and football teams. He was named Commonwealth Athletic Conference Most Valuable Player, an Item All-Star, and an Aganis All-Star while playing linebacker and running back for the Tigers. His senior year in 1981 for the football team went 8-2, won the CAC championship, and finished 3rd in the state's Division V Super Bowl rankings. On the diamond, John was a 2-time All-Star center fielder for the 2-time CAC champions. He married his wife Donna in 1992, has 1 son, Daniel, a lifelong Lynn resident. John was appointed to the Lynn Fire Department in 1994, following in his father Ray's footsteps. He earned an associate's degree in fire science from North Shore Community College and has served as a lieutenant in the fire department for the last 14 years. John has been awarded several commendations during his time with the Lynn Fire, including Box 41 Award during a fire on Kingsley Terrace, where 12 residents were rescued in 2017. John also enjoyed volunteering for several Lynn youth sports programs over the years, including Wyoming Little League, Lynn Babe Ruth Baseball, and East Lynn Pop Warner. He was an assistant coach for East Lynn Pop Warner C Squad that won the city's first New England championship in 2008 and competed for the World Championship in Disney World, Florida. That's John Kane. Next up, Al Melanson. Well, I'm passionate about this guy because I played for him. Al graduated from Lynn English High School, where he played varsity hockey and baseball. In his senior year, he was awarded the MVP trophy and the Boston Herald All-Scholastic Award. Al was a Bruins practice goalie. He played in the East Coast League of the International Hockey League. He was also on the Providence Reds backup goalie in the AHL. In 1968, Al made the decision to go to the Massachusetts State Police Academy. Playing hockey was over. In 1971, Al's wife, Nancy, a teacher, saw the first posting for the first LVTI hockey coach. Al pursued this and was elected to be the coach. As it was a new position there, and there were many challenges, such as forming the Commonwealth Athletic Conference Ice Hockey League, being president in 1981, until 1981. So from 1971 to 1981, he was the president of the Commonwealth Athletic Conference. He also finding ice time, uniforms, equipment, and forming a team of technicians. When Proposition 2.5 hit sports, Al organized a group to save sports, especially the JV and junior high middle school programs, with the 1500 Club, involving parents of all Lynn high schools. Al's philosophy for his teams was family came first, then school, followed by hockey. He wanted to be part of the educational process of his players, creating well-rounded student athletes prepared for their future. Teaching life's lessons was as important as teaching the game of hockey. Al's team's reputations were one of, if not the hardest working, skating, hitting, disciplined team in the league. Achieving life goals involved sacrifice, hard work, discipline, responsibilities, developing character, all taught through teamwork. Evidence of this was shown how the players conducted themselves on and off the ice, in the classroom, and in the city. The success they had after graduation, with some going on to college, some playing hockey, some worked for the federal, state, and city governments, some started their own business, and others were integral parts of the industry. Al is proud of them all. Next up would be Mickey Wilson. Mickey Wilson is the owner of Dot Connect Consulting. She energizes entrepreneurs, connecting the dots in their service-based business to support market strategy, scaling from solopreneurs to CEOs. Before entrepreneurship, that's a tough word, Mickey achieved a 15-year career as a marketing and business development director for a local-based business. She is a well-respected advocate and board leader passionate about education, creative arts, and youth employment. Born and raised in Lynn, Mickey was a student in the machine drafting program, graduating in 1997. Admittedly not her first choice, Mickey attended Lynn Tech because her parents had more of a vision for her success than she could imagine at the age of 13. With her heart set on going to college, Mickey remembers her mother explaining that she would need a trade to fall back on if college didn't work out. While Mickey may not have lacked a vision for the future, she wasn't lacking energy or aptitude. Mickey chose machine drafting not because she dreamt of being an engineer, although the thought behind a desk was appealing. She chose machine drafting because it was the most challenging program to be accepted. While trigonometry wasn't her zone of genius, great attention to detail and quality was. She would like to believe that even her own shop teacher, Mr. O'Hagan, would agree that in a classroom where students drafted plans for well-constructed casters and boxes, Mickey created a blueprint that allowed her to think outside the box. So she has multiple degrees from North Shore Community College in Salem State. Mickey attributes the principles of top quality management for the foundation of engineering and her success, both personally and professionally. That's Mickey Wilson. Judy, did you have any additional? Because I know you know Mickey
I just
personally.
wanted to add something personal for each Graham Archer. I happened to be at his induction as the Swampscott chief of the fire department, and 3 women, I didn't know them at all, and they approached me and they told me that he saved their lives. He was an EMT as part of his training, and he actually did save their lives. He was able to perform the emergency training that he had received, and they just were so happy to see him inducted as a chief. Secondly, again, a personal note, Shelley McDuff Mayan. Shelley and I met at an awards ceremony. We hadn't seen each other for a very long time, and we met at an awards ceremony. Shelley was very proud of her young brother who had a disability. Shelley set up a scholarship, her own 501c3 for her brother Sean McDuff, for honoring and encouraging students with special needs to pursue higher education. And I was giving an award for my brother, and she was giving one for hers. So that was a really nice. I met her mom. They were both into this award giving on behalf of the brother. And then finally, Mickey Wilson, who is a business major at Salem State, graduated from Salem State. I met Mickey Wilson in an unusual way. She was renovating a home on behalf of a group house for boys in that area. And she was hands down, hands were dirty, really renovating that house to get it ready for a group of homeless people to move in. So three additional thoughts on each of those three people. And Rick and Bart, would you have anything to add to Jim?
Oh, I think we've got a great list of inductees, and I think it's going to be a great night.
Okay, let's start the questions then. I have four more, Judy. I'm sorry. I just stopped at Mickey because I knew you knew her personally.
Okay.
So John Ray is another candidate. He's a 2004 graduate of the TV media. He's dedicated his life to our city's youth, working with Upward Bound, Time to Shine, Eastland Pop Warner, New England Youth Tech Football, Silverbacks Football, and Lynn Tech. He's led our youth to championships, park cleanups, food drive, and much more volunteer work. Through his efforts, he has created safe places for our youth to be active, outgoing, and guided by great people. The time invested to our youth will have great impacts on our city for years to come. Him and his family continue to lead by example by staying involved and giving back to our community. He's currently working in JetBlue. He works for JetBlue, and he also owns the Silverbacks football team. So it's a youth football program that travels. So that's John Ray. I have Shelley. Shelley's drafting career led to GE aircraft engines. She worked on the T-700 engine used in the Black Hawk military helicopters at Lucas Aerospace, Birmingham, England. She was the drafting liaison for Birmingham and the USGM Allison gas turbines utilizing CAEDS solid modeling software. She's worked for the last 28 years at Massachusetts General Hospital. Her career at Mass General Hospital began in the MGH quit smoking service, following her certification as a smoking cessation counselor at the Mayo Clinic. Within a year, she was promoted to senior administrative manager, working as the chief of general internal medicine. Was promoted to senior, working with the chief. Okay. His history, working with the trades as an iron worker during medical school and drafting skills led to additional responsibilities. She completed the MGH management certification program and was promoted to administrative director, Central Administration Division of Internal Medicine. There, her role grew into a large central administration team who provided support for 1,800 members of the division. Her drafting training enabled her to design plans for a 38,000 square foot complete renovation. The design elements, lighting, technology, furniture, conference center, color scheme, and office setup to move 262 people over one weekend is one of her proudest accomplishments. She enjoys work with the Revere Health Center Toy Drive, Sock Drive for Boston Healthcare Homeless, and the Inner City Summer programs. The Cookie Drive and golf tournaments she has helped her daughter raise from making strides against breast cancer has raised over $30,000. Shelley is most proud of establishing the Sean McDuff Scholarship Fund to honor her brother, which encourages students with special needs to pursue higher education. Her husband, Jim, daughter, Megan, and puppy, Murphy, are her heart. Together, they enjoy skiing, golfing, cooking, traveling, and family dinners together. She is thankful for the support of her mother, Marie, her aunts and uncles. Her late father, Joe, and her brother, Sean, were instrumental in helping form the foundations of the woman she is today. So that's Shelley. Next one is Brad Tilley. Brad Tilley is a Lynn English graduate. He played football, was on the swim team, and is in the Lynn English Hall of Fame. He earned degrees in physical education and technical education from UMass while winning the New England Lacrosse Championship with an undefeated season and a ninth place national ranking. He is on their all-time roster. He also played football, winning a conference championship. He and his wife Sue, 2 sons, Justin, a firefighter, and Kyle, an engineer, both with families. Brad taught at Lynn Tech, Breed, Pickering, and Fecto Leary, serving as the athletic director at Fecto and assistant athletic director at Lynn Tech. He coached football for North Reading, Northeast Regional, and Lynn Tech, winning the 2009 Super Bowl. He also coached lacrosse at Tech. Brad coached Lynn Tech swimming for 44 years with 6 city championships. We're 2009 conference champs, going undefeated in 2011 conference champs, 2012 vocational state champs, 2020 girls conference champs, and earned MIAA Academic Excellence Award for 9 straight years. In 2009, he was both the Boston Globe and Lynn Item Coach of the Year. He is in the Eastern Mass Swim Coaches Hall of Fame. He stands alone as the longest tenured coach in Lynn Tech history. That's Brad Tilley. And last but not least, Chris Spiropoulos. His Lynn Tech journey began before he ever stepped into the building. When he first applied as a 9th grader from Breed Junior High, he was rejected and forced to spend a year at Lynn Classical. The year left me unclear and non-specific path that I would have provided a few opportunities. Luckily, a year later, I was able to transfer to Lynn Tech and enrolled in the electrical shop. It was obvious from my first day that that's where I belonged. Being in a position where I could not only acquire a trade, but also enjoy the process of learning, and was refreshing and gave me a newfound appreciation for school. The teachers in the shop, Mr. Charlie Schuler, Mr. Albert Malgriffa, Mr. Joe Albaro, and Mr. Joe Grozewski, were dedicated professionals. They were a great team that was producing outstanding apprentice electricians. I was fortunate to be one of them. I would use this career education that they had provided me to become an extremely competitive journeyman and master electrician. These licenses would be used throughout my career to augment my income by operating my part-time business, Spiro Electric. After working full-time as an electrician, I decided to add Lynn Tech training and obtained an ASEE from Franklin Institute. Many of the technical skills I received at Lynn Tech carried over to this college-level program and made obtaining the degree much less demanding. After graduating from Franklin, I began the job as an electronic engineer for Bell Telephone Laboratories. Without my experiences at Lynn Tech, I would have never had the unique skill set that helped me not only to compete at that level, but excel in areas my peers could not. After a number of years at Bell Labs, Al Malagriffa offered me a job teaching in the electronics shop. My 1-year leave of absence from Bell Labs turned into 26 years teaching at Lynn Tech. During my time as a teacher, I did my best to emulate the Lynn Tech mentors that impacted me so fondly. The approach helped me also produce outstanding students that would become excellent technicians and engineers. One of the highlights of my career was co-founding the Lynn Tech First Robotics program in 2006. That year, the team won the Boston Regional Rookie All-Star and went to compete in the National First Robotics competition in Atlanta, Georgia. Over the past 16 years, that team has won awards and continued to be successfully introduce students into the real-world technical challenges. The First Robotics program impacts students and mentors' lives in ways no extracurricular activity could. The Lynn Tech team was and continues to be an extraordinary encounter for everyone involved. I am very thankful for my time as Lynn Tech, both as a student and a teacher. That completes all of them. Sorry.
No, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Jim. May I ask Bart, who are the speakers and invited guests who will take part in the Hall of Fame event?
Actually, I don't know.
Okay, so I know the superintendent will be there. I know the mayor will be there. I know a couple of state representatives, maybe 3 state reps will be there. Senator Creighton will be there. Several of the school committee members will be there, and several of the Lynn City Council will be there, including Rick.
Ceremonies?
Master of Ceremonies is Rick Stobbard.
Okay, all right. And Rick, what characteristics do most of these recipients have that make them exceptional leaders?
I think it's where they got their humble beginnings, and a lot of them working in the trade, starting out that way. I think that going to Lynn Tech, you gain a work ethic that you don't get in other places, and that carries you throughout your life. It doesn't matter whether you stay in your trade or go into a completely different field. It's something that's instilled in you at a young age, and you take that with you wherever you go.
And how are these goals met by the Hall of Fame? Bart?
Were those goals worked?
Yeah, what are some of the goals of the Lynn Tech Alumni Association?
Okay. Our main goals are to support any activities at Lynn Tech that are going to help that school compete with other vocational schools and being one of the best in the state of Massachusetts. And it involves the fundraising events, the golf tournament, the Hall of Fame event, and of course the very successful Festival of Trees. And we give back a lot of that money to the different organizations and the students at Lynn Tech.
Okay. Back to Jim for a minute. Some of the professional accomplishments of the recipients. There's some amazing professional accomplishments of recipients. Is there anybody who might want to mention a particular one of the 13?
Well, I can mention one that contacted me. He wrote the book Wakefield. It's called Pleasure Island. There used to be a entertainment park in Wakefield, and he wrote the book Pleasure Island, and he wrote about that. He's actually donating 13 copies of signed, and he's bringing them to the event to give to all of the alumni. And he is a Hall of Fame. He's a Lynn Trade alumni and Hall of Famer as well. His name is Bob. McLaughlin. Bob McLaughlin. There you go. So he will be at the event, and he will have 13 copies of his book to hand out to the new inductees.
Wow, that's excellent. And I certainly would like to mention 3 members of the Archer family, Mark, Steve, and Graham. Graham, the chief of the fire department, as you mentioned, in Swampscott. Steve, the chief of the fire department here in Lynn, and Mark retired as a state police officer and now an attorney in Burlington, a bankruptcy attorney, doing very well. 3 very strong family members, all 3 members of the Hall of Fame. Anyone else like to jump in?
I'd add to that also, when you look at the politicians in the city of Lynn on the school committee and the council, how many graduates from Lynn Tech, and they're giving back to the community by running for office and making Lynn a great city. And Rick is one of them.
And Rick is definitely one of them. A number of leaders here in the city of Lynn, an exceptional number coming from Lynn Tech, Lynn Trade and Lynn Tech. I am curious, we have an awards ceremony coming up at Lynn Tech, not too far away, and I know I'm certainly one of the people participating. How about other alumni or members of the recipients of this Hall of Fame that are involved in our upcoming award ceremony at Lynn Tech, and to tell everybody out there that Lynn Tech will have one this year, an in-person award ceremony, I believe, and they certainly are looking for people to contribute.
So I can start. So the Albert Malagriffin Award this year will be given out by Al's son, Steve. He had contacted us regarding the scholarship. He wanted to up the money a little. and he also wanted to give it to a special person. He was actually worked at the junior high level, and he met this person who's graduating this year, who was really struggling at the time, and he really wanted to make sure this kid. So he kind of took him under his wing. He kind of brought him along, and now the kid is graduating from Lynn Tech this year, and he wanted to make sure that he got the scholarship. But I said, well, not only will he get the scholarship, but you can give it out if you want. And he was in tears about that. So he will be giving out one of the awards this year. That's just one of the many awards we give out.
Absolutely.
And we just had our scholarship meeting with the guidance department last Thursday, and it looks like we're between cash awards and tool awards. We'll probably be in the area of about $20,000 that we will be giving out to graduates on awards night.
Oh, that's excellent, excellent. For each one of you, what do you see as the vision, your vision for the Alumni Association? Back to Jim, if you would. What do you see as your vision for the Alumni Association?
I think we need to reach out and to the younger, generation of all these people that are graduating, get them involved, because, all of us aren't going to be around forever. So, I mean, I've been the president now for 14 years, and, none of us are getting any younger. So we need to get these younger kids. So I've been trying to reach out to some of the younger ones that have graduated and get them involved. So my speech at the Hall of Fame will be the same. That my challenge to everybody is to get involved and start giving back. You know what I mean? Pay it forward. You got a lot out of this school. Let's all give it back and pay it forward.
One of the points I'd like to add is I know I am, but other people might be disappointed too. With all of the people that have been inducted into the Hall of Fame, not many of them have come back to kind of help out. And it's not like you have to do a whole lot. I mean, we meet once a month. And Jim sends it out to everybody. So many people know when the meetings are. The second Monday of the month, every month at Lynn Tech. And the meeting is over in like 45 minutes, and we get a lot done in that time. And it would be nice to have some of the Hall of Famers come back and help a little bit here and there. Just even like at when we have the big event with the Christmas trees. We could use help those nights with people coming in, because it is really crowded, and it's been very successful. And that's thanks to our good friend Diana Badger for giving us the thoughts for that and how to run it and everything. And we don't want to lose out on that, because we've been able to give so much back to the school.
And if I could just piggyback on Bart's comments, even for those that don't have the time to come to a meeting, to be able to come down and support things like the Festival of Trees or our golf tournament, which will be on July 30th this year up at Gannon. Those are things that, give financial support, give a little bit of your time to help out at these events, and it goes a long way. And that's what goes towards the $20,000 in awards that we give out on awards nights, and the different kinds of supports that we provide to, whether it's sports teams and that have a special event and they travel, or Skills USA, and help to financially support, their efforts throughout the year. So, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great group of people. The board is a great board to work with. We do have a good time. It's all great people. So it's a fun thing to get involved with.
To add on, serving on the advisory board, being a speaker in the classroom, the awards night, come in and participate. The cooperative program, there's nothing better than hands-on learning, and Lynn Tech excels in that area. And of course, part-time jobs. All of those are ways that you can help the school, and that's what this Alumni Association is there for. Has there been a change?
If I could just add one thing, Judy,
yes.
And, also to come back and teach. It's not always easy to find, particularly vocational teachers, but even folks that have gone into the academic education field to come back and teach. And as someone who was able to do that for 14 years, it's a tremendous experience. I miss it every day. It'll be one of the most fun, rewarding jobs I've ever had.
I've also found that our faculty alumni are some of the most passionate people for giving back to the school. A change in the demographics, the current population of Lynn Tech students. Any thoughts on that? That when I was first there, they had just started to put in programs for women because it had been an all-male school for 50 years. And they have grown now. I looked at the report card from the DESC, and it's up 46% of that was a year ago when I looked it up recently, but the last report was 46%. And so that is a big change. And also the increase in our Hispanic population, tremendous increase over this period of time. And we're looking at approximately 71%, which is really a very strong change in demographics. Anybody else have something to add?
Again, kind of just to jump back on what I said about coming back to teach, that's what we do need, is people to come in. I had two of my former students come back and teach in the collision repair program, who both did a phenomenal job working in that program. One of them had to get back to his business, so pretty much the same scenario that was with me. I had to get back to my business on a full-time basis, so I had to give up my teaching job, and the other gentleman who was doing an outstanding job relocated to Atlanta. But it would be great if we could get kids that are in the trades, whether it's Latino or Asian or whatever, to be able to come back, so that you know, kids look at them as role models as well, not just teachers, but role models. If they came here and did it, I can do it too.
Absolutely. Again, there's no more passionate teacher than an alumni who has come back to teach in that school. I happened to visit the school in the advanced manufacturing, and both of the teachers who were alumni and the co-op director, they all told me about the job that I gave them, and they were very excited about the jobs that they were doing. And so that's a great thing to do, and thank you, Rick, on that. Looking at the job market, we're in a very strange time for sure. We've had a pandemic, and it's not over. And we have a war in Ukraine, we have inflation, we have a lot of changes happening for students. What does the job market look like? Rick?
It's still hot. You know, we struggle to find help, as does everyone else out there. Whether it's in the trades and in service-related fields, you know, everybody's looking for help, and those that have a good work ethic and a strong foundation of basic skills, sky's the limit for those folks.
And Cranny Electric, and they cover what, 4 different subjects really: electrical, plumbing, and a couple others too. And they're looking for help all the time. There just aren't enough people. And, you know, it's like in the winter when you have heating things going out and things like that, there's just not enough help. And people are waiting for that. So they're all looking. And if you look in Centennial Drive at some of the places, you see some sign that's up for machinist and so forth when you drive by there. So there is a need for employees.
And your thoughts, Jim?
Yeah, so just driving around, you can see every business says now hiring. So I you know, there's obviously, you know, numerous jobs out there in the market, and also it seems like the average age of a licensed plumber and a licensed electrician is well into their 50s. So we need to get these younger kids their licenses and get them because it's got to bring that average back down. I mean, today, if you want somebody to work in your house, to get an electrician, to get a plumber, you're going to be waiting a long time. So,
Long time, correct.
About in your field, Jim, don't forget, you have a very special area that's very high tech. I know I've been looking into the life sciences area on the North Shore. Do you know that there's 84 life sciences organizations and companies on the North Shore? So that's a hot field. How about the area that you're working in, which is a really very high tech?
So it's funny you bring that up. I got a call over the past week from a former boss, Tom Sesso, who is now the head of IT at Salem State College. As you know, you've spoken with him several times. He is applying for a grant for information security lab. They're going to build a huge information security lab, and they asked me to help them out and get them partnering with Lynn Tech to get some of the Lynn Tech students involved in that. So I told him that I would do anything I could to help him, and I hooked him up with Fred Gallo. So I know him and Fred have met once, but they're going to meet, again a few times before he turns in that. But he wants to partner with Lynn Tech, and he wants the Lynn Tech students to be, involved in that information security program, which is huge in this day and age over there. So, but as far as the trade goes, at Liberty Mutual, we have thousands of people listed. If you go on our website at Liberty Mutual, there's thousands of job openings just in the IT division alone. So.
What do you see as the future of new courses such as advanced manufacturing? I had an opportunity to visit the most amazing advanced manufacturing shop at Lynn Tech, and I know that all of those life sciences companies are really hungry to partner with Lynn Tech. And tomorrow I'm going to take a look at the advanced manufacturing at North Shore Community College, because so many of them are hungry to make that partnership. Any thoughts?
It definitely is an important field that, it's kind of a round circle of multiple trades, I think, is what, we're talking when we're talking that.
Okay, are any of the 13 recipients part of, I consider mentorship to be very important. Mentorship, internships, cooperative education. In particular, mentorships are an important characteristic of leadership. Of the 13 recipients that we have, any thoughts on their being mentors?
So, Alma Lansing alone, so there's probably 7 kids that are on the Hall of Fame wall right now because of Alma Lansing, including Mike Geary, who's the chief of police in Lynn for a short time. Dennis Barton, who's a Hall of Famer, who he was a Drug Enforcement Administration for over 40 years. There's Joey Martell, Connecticut State Trooper, and Drug Task for the Connecticut State Troopers. And these guys are all up on the wall already. So as far as he went, he led a lot of kids down the law enforcement, path, and they had the ultimate respect for him, and that's kind of why they went that way, So there's just one in particular that I can see.
You kind of go down the list, and there's quite a few. Whether it's Johnny Ray, as all the coaching he does, he's a mentor. Brad Tilley, all the people that he mentored as a teacher, as a swim coach, as a lacrosse coach. Steve Duffy, as he coached in Little League and all that, but he also co-opted many kids in his electrical company, and how many kids he mentored that way. Tito Cabrera still serves on the Auto Tech advisory board, where he has for years. He's a mentor. So you could kind of go down the line, and just about every one of them, is a mentor in one way or another.
Another one, Chris Paropoulos was also a mentor to his students over the years and beyond, and he did an excellent job. Exactly,
and not only through his job in the electronics program, but hired kids in his electrical company, right. And he began the robotics program and took in kids from all over the school and did a phenomenal job with that program.
What skills do you think students need in today's world, in today's ever-changing world?
They need to be lifelong learners. Everything is so fast-paced, and every trade in industry is so ever-changing. You don't need to look any further than the automotive industry, both on the collision side and the mechanical side, with the advanced driver safety, equipment that's now in these cars that pretty much self-drive, electric, hybrid. It's just always changing. And as I said earlier, if you have a strong work ethic and a good foundation of basic skills and a willingness to work, the sky's the limit, no matter what trade you go into.
Bart,
Yeah.
what would you say, Bart? Oh, Jim?
I was thinking the same exact thing. If they're willing to learn, they'll get the help because there are so many great professionals out there. So they need to come in with that good work ethic.
And I remember way back when I was in, junior high school, I remember my dad, and it's stuck right here in the back of my head. He always said to me, be like a sponge and absorb everything. Everything that somebody shows you, you absorb it and you remember it, and it'll be successful.
Amazing piece of advice. Absolutely. Some of the challenges that you see facing the Lynn Tech Alumni Association and Lynn Tech High School.
Well, one of the challenges for us to get more help and more people to come aboard, that would be a big help. Because at some point, someone like Jim Ward and Rick that have other commitments and everything, it's going to wear them down. And we need people to come along and give us a little help.
We definitely need an infusion of younger people. I kind of glance behind me because I have a plaque on my wall behind me that was given to me right after we started the Alumni Association. And I was a member of the Charter Board of Directors, and that plaque is dated 1990. So as I think back, I was 26 years old when I got involved with the Lynn Tech Alumni Association, and now here I am, an old guy. We definitely need an infusion of youth in our group to keep it going, because the school's always going to be in need of a strong alumni for support and financial support, and we need people to be able to come up behind us and take the reins over.
Yeah, give us ideas. I mean, like the Diana Badger idea. She came up with that, Festival of Trees, and that's been like our heartbeat, so to speak, for the past, 5 to 10 years. And we need people to come in like that and give us ideas and, get us involved in some of the different things, so that we can, spread our horizons, so we can make this money last for the next 50 years and keep Lynn Tech going.
And okay, again though, one more thought on that. What can alumni or friends of the association do to keep Lynn Tech students successful and the Lynn Tech Alumni Association meaningful? You spoke about coming back on and joining the association itself and helping out. That's absolutely a critical area. We're getting older and we need to have additional people coming on board. But keeping our students successful and keeping this association meaningful. Any ideas on that?
I think just keep going on the route we're going. I mean, we have over 100 people on that Hall of Fame, and that right there is just those are all people that were so successful, and that I think that's a big meaning. That's very meaningful to people to be up on that wall, and. Again, we need money to keep the kids, going. I mean, we got the life skills program, which is, becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And they go to the nationals every year now, so it becomes more and more expensive. So we need to make more money to be able to invest in all the things that are going on.
Absolutely.
I think another thing, and it's incumbent upon, city leaders to make Lynn a city that graduates want to continue to live in and raise their own families in. And that's really the only way to keep them involved in the school and in the alumni, because if they're, beginning their careers and they're leaving the city, they're going to be less likely to be involved in things like the Alumni Association in the city. So it's important to keep people in the city throughout their careers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. One more thought from Bart?
No, I'm all set. They covered it well.
Then finally, can you stop and think, there are, I think, 630 some types, numbers of students who are applying for openings at Lynn Tech for only about 300 positions. And then we have the After Doc program, both in advanced manufacturing and healthcare studies to get more students into Lynn Tech. What advice would you give to today's students? The demand is there. The demand for the trades are there. There's no doubt about that. Colleges are feeling the pinch, and the trades are really roaring along right now. But what advice would you give to them?
Well, when they're coming up to 8th grade, it wouldn't be a bad idea for a number of them to come back to Lynn Tech and try it for that year. And it doesn't guarantee that they're going to be, especially in a situation like this where over 600 applied for 320 seats, but it gives them a chance. And we had done this years and years ago, but one of our former superintendents cut the program out, and that was helping us build to where we had like over 1,000 students at the time. And I'd like to see more kids get into the 8th grade program, because now it seems to be going very, very well. And they have some good administration there. And so Tech is going to get some good students from there. And so hopefully that will continue.
Any other thoughts on that? Okay, advice to the students? No more advice. All right. Then, I'm sorry? Bart, go ahead.
No.
No,
That's it.
Rick? Advice to students?
I'll
Jim?
go back to what my father told me. Be like a sponge, absorb everything you can, and, learn as much as you can. I'll go back to that advice.
Okay. Rick, are you finished? Okay.
Yeah.
Then I would like to thank Rick Starbird, the owner of Rick's Auto Collision, Bart Conlon, retired director from Lynn Tech High School, Jim Ward, the president of the Lynn Tech Alumni Association, and the family, and asking that all of you join Rick, Bart, Jim, and myself to join with the family and friends of the 13 recipients of the 2022 Hall of Fame that will take place 6:30 p.m. Spinelli's in Linfield on Friday, May 8th. Come and join us in this remarkable and very fine celebration.